Welcome to Fact or Freestyle.
People love Dave Nourie, and they always answer the phone when he calls. When we get him on Zoom, we ask him to confirm rumors.
Let's see how far down the rabbit hole we go.
Warning: the topic discussed on this show has been demonstrated to alter people's consciousness irreversibly. If you choose to go down the 43 rabbit hole, you must accept personal responsibility for doing so.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the new Hall of Fame that's being built in Tulsa?
Yeah, looks pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome facility. So yeah, we're getting ready to, getting everything dialed in, and we're going to move everything at the end of December and start putting it all together in January.
Sweet.
Should be good.
It's amazing that we're at this stage. It's pretty cool to be able to see the beginning and this far into it, I mean, it's a trip. That Olympics thing was a mind blower, showing like different family members, because I got the Peacock thing. And I was like, oh yeah, you gotta see the women, man. The women are killing it, it's just like, oh my God, we're in the Olympics. I remember being a kid in school thinking, wouldn't that be cool if you could get PE credits? It's like,
yeah. What do you want to, did you find a quote from Rob Lowe?
I did find a Rob Lowe quote. This one's really insightful. Absorb what is useful, discard what is not, add what is uniquely your own. And I think that sets the tone for 43, because there's so much significance that's been assigned to it, that significance kind of snowballs it. And once you get into 43, forever will it dominate your path.
That's right. Oh yeah, it takes a while for it to sink in. I've had people who aren't into BMX or skateboarding. You tell them about it, and they're, yeah, whatever, you're a kook, you're one of those weirdos that rides bikes and skateboards, whatever. And then like 2 weeks or 3 weeks later, they'll send me a picture. Well, this is weird. Well, yeah, and it's always a soft sell with those guys. I don't hammer them with it. I'm all, dude, I'm serious.
You don't need to.
Just everywhere, check it out. It's just cool. Check it out. It's and they'll come back and we'll say, yeah, that's kind of how it goes, man. And then it snowballs totally. Once they see one and it's in their head, it's over. It's over.
So Maurice, maybe you can give a little background, because we heard Ray's like his how he remembered it coming to be, but
yeah, Ray said that there were two versions of the story.
Yeah,
and so
that's a FactOrFreestyle. There you go. I can break this down to the source for sure.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. What are the two?
All right. Yeah, so what he said was, there was a skater, like either a skater or a skater's dad went to Israel, and all of the prices were like with 43, whatever the cents were on shekels at the time. And he was like, well, that's kind of weird. And so then he came back and he kept seeing it. And then it went that way. And the second way, what was the second version of the story, Dave? I lost that one.
I'm not remembering either. I don't know the details of that, but
I couldn't remember what the versions were based on. If it was based on Israel and the hardware stores and the 43 cents, or if the version was based on whether it was a skater or the skater's dad, or if it was someone that you knew, like if it was one of your relatives.
Yeah, it's funny because that's close, and I'm sure I've told it directly to Ray before.
Okay,
his memory is a little off, or maybe even in just 2 jumps it's starting to get better. But so wait, before we do that, I just wanted to share a factoid with you. That only 43% of the body's total cell count is actually human. I didn't know that.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
So 43% were, say that again? 43%.
According to the BBC News, a fairly trustworthy news site, right? Not very biased, 43%. Human cells make up only 43% of the body's total cell count, while the rest are microscopic colonists. Oh, that's freaky.
So we're all 43. Our cells basically
Built in.
43. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty phenomenal.
Well, there
Joe.
you
I don't
go.
know. We can't argue that point.
No,
Basically,
that's the
43%
BBC
human.
talking. Yeah.
What's that, GOrk?
So you're 43% human? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. Basically,
Yeah,
you're
that's what the
43%
BBC
human.
says.
We're only real 43% of it. I mean, that's it. 43%.
Well, we're partly colonized at a cellular
Yeah.
level.
Isn't that weird? Dude.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so go back to your
That's
story, Maurice,
awesome.
because I
Yeah,
know our
go.
listeners are going to be dying to know where the origin of 43. Can I tell you my little
It's
snippet? I
good we're
remember-
not all stoned, because we would go nuts on this right now. If all of us were stoned right now, like that factoid right there would just dominate the rest of the show. But
Yeah, right. We're like, wait.
All right,
We also
but,
pretty lucid.
but we should when we make this, when we publish this, Dave, we should buy ads targeted at people who follow like
High Times.
like High Times, like if they
Right.
subscribe to High Times Facebook and just
Yeah.
blast it all out and be like, yo, we're gonna blow the roof off this, and you tell me if you make it through this entire episode
Yeah.
and you're not changed.
Oh yeah, and there's more factoids, man. Like that yeah, it could get ugly. So
this
the
is
real
great.
story, the real story is. So I like to say that it wasn't invented; it was discovered. Because I know GOrk rode
Right.
the 43 plate before any of this I'm going to tell you just happened, right? So I think it was in the 85, 86 time frame. It was a skater. His name was Rob. We call him Orb Fladen. He's in some skate videos back then. He's kind of known. He was a jokester guy. He moved to LA once, and he said he was going to sell maps to the skaters' homes. You know, like you know, back then. So he's hilarious. And we used to all just party together. Him and all these crews from San Francisco got together from different neighborhoods over skating and BMX, right? Skating mainly, but so yeah, it was his dad. It's semi-racist if you're just too triggered by that stuff today, but I hope bear with me. The story is his dad goes to the store and he comes back. He's all, man, how come every time I buy something at the store, it's like 43 cents, this $6.43. And he puts the accent on there. And I don't, I'm not sure which culture
Right.
he's trying to, talk about, but there's a lot of people running the stores here were similar to Apu or whatever, which has been canceled. Apu's canceled now, I guess. But
Right.
yeah, so he comes back in 1980 something, says that to his kid, and then his kid's laughing. He comes to the party one time. He's like, "Yeah, my dad, 43," and then all of a sudden, that's where it's seeded, right into the skate community. And then I think somewhere I'm like starting to do it. My mom did it. And then Carl Roth. Carl Roth's probably one of the main evangelizers of the thing. He brought it into BMX, I would say. Me and him, I guess, but he's the one who spread it around because I was starting to come out of the scene, and Carl was still doing it. And so,
it was immigrant business owners who were pricing their goods in such a way that 43 was always the cents, or that they were just
the tax would come up that way. Yeah, it's part of the US, we have to tax everything. So we got all these pennies floating around like they don't do in a lot of other places, where they just charge you $1.50 and leave it at that.
Oh, because it's value added tax. All right,
yeah,
I got it.
Everything comes up to these weird numbers. And I think that's what the frustration was. And we're always frustrated. I'm sick of all these pennies I have, And so it was, that's what triggers the frustration, because you're like, with all these stupid pennies. And, so it's not really all about the culture thing. He wasn't bagging on the guy culturally,
right.
He was just illustrating the story, with a little bit of,
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So,
okay. So it was coincidental. It was coincidental that it had nothing to do with another culture and their
no.
43. It was coincidental.
No,
Right,
he illustrated the story with it. It really is based on the ridiculous, it comes from that. If he had went into that store and it was always like, cool, $1.50, got that, it's easy. If it was always $1.25, yep, here you go, or but it's more because it's always 43 or 68 or 92 or these ridiculous prices. $1.99, you know, you're just like, come on, Magic, can you just round it up, you know? And so that's how I see it anyway. But yeah, he put it out there, and I know the Wizard Pubs guys latched on it pretty quickly. Like I know when Spike was there, and you know, Spike and Lou and Andy, they definitely jumped on it pretty quick too. So it spread in LA pretty fast.
Yeah, what about you, GOrk? So what was your first encounter with the 43 phenomenon?
Well, I mean, way before, you know, the whole freestyle thing, before 43 became, you know, the number of coincidence in all of BMX, you know, I was like, growing up as a kid, you know, my brother and I, we had our favorite NASCAR drivers. So Richard Petty, 43 STP car, you know, that was my guy, you know. So I started off a big Richard Petty fan. My brother, his number was 71, who was a driver named Bobby Isaac. And he liked him just because he drove one of those Dodge Challenger or Dodge, you know, with the big old spoiler in the back, you know.
Oh yeah, Superbird or
the Superbirds, yeah. So he always liked that car, and it was a 71. So then when we started racing BMX, like in 1976, it's probably before any of you guys are born, right? They you know, get to pick our numbers. So my brother rode 71 and I have 43. So 43 was my very first race number, you know, so that goes, you know, that was my roots of my origins of 43 and why I was a fan of it. So then jump forward to when I'm working at BMX Action, and all of a sudden 43, you know, the whole freestyle world's just going bonkers about 43 being the number of coincidence. Because, you know, I don't know, Maurice, maybe you can fill me in, but wasn't there, like on summer tour, I don't know if it was Team Haro or Skyway or whoever, but they would, you know, they break down and it's right at, you know, they pull over on the freeway and it's mile marker 43. Or, you know, I think Wilkerson maybe was telling me the story, you know, you just pull up next to, you know, at a stoplight and there's a school bus next to you and the number is 43 on the school bus, you know, just all those numbers of coincidence. Or I do remember this good story. So the Mongoose guys in the original Mongoose Suburban, you know, and during the filming of Rad, this is a story that I got from Travis Chiprez. And, or maybe it was, I don't know, one of the Mongoose guys. I'm pretty sure it was Chiprez. And in that Mongoose Suburban, you know, that was in the movie Rad, you know, the famous, you know, custom painted Mongoose Suburban, the windshield wipers would just randomly go, you know. So actually during the filming of Rad, they had to take the windshield wipers off because, you know, they're filming through the window and, you know, these windshield wipers just randomly, you know, just go. But somebody came up with the idea to time it, and it was like every 43 seconds was when the windshield wiper would go, every 40, you know. So, you know, just stuff like that. That was you know, the number of coincidence. So yeah, I don't know. Do you remember those stories, Rob?
Oh yeah, I don't remember the breakdown stories, but those are the ones that are mind blowers. Exactly, where it's like random. We were talking about it early, like you'll see receipts, you'll see, you know, news headlines, you'll see commercials like I lost 43 pounds, you know, and those are all hilarious, right? But it's when you're out in the wild and it just comes randomly. Like I was saying, how my kid when he was small puts on this fire helmet and a fire truck turns around. And I'm like, no, what the hell, you know? And so, yeah, it's those like a breakdown, dude. That's like when you're like in that weird state, you're like, oh shit, we're broken down. And how do you get 43? What? You know, like, yeah, those ones leave the best impression, I think, or, you know. And I don't think if you picked another number, you'd see that, right? I mean, like, you know, everybody like laughs at 69, right? Oh, 69, oh, that's funny.
Right.
You know, 69. You know, I don't see that everywhere. I've known about that longer than 43. Ooh, 69. Ooh, that's kind of funny. Never see that.
I think, I think we could challenge the 43 and see how much it holds its weight, because I think what you said is right. Like you get the receipt, you get the common numbers that you run into lots of numbers at exit 43, but then it
Yeah.
starts to become like, wait a minute, this is too much of a
Yeah.
coincidence, you know, because and I remember being told, and it was probably from you, Maurice, or I'm sure it came from NorCal. I'm not sure if it was your words exactly, but like, now that you know, just be prepared. Like that was all that was said.
That
Like,
would be us. Yeah, Carl,
yeah.
me, I don't know.
Yeah, just now you know, right? And
Yeah.
Brian and Wilkerson, we're all over it. And the funny thing is that Wilkerson, the enchanted ramp, that he had all those 2 hip contests. You know what exit he was at?
Yeah.
He was at exit 43. But nobody
Right.
talked about it at the time. And I realized it years later. I'm like, dude, that's exit 43. Like,
Right.
Hey everybody, so here's the time. This is when we're gonna come in and do the Flatland Fuel $20 gift certificate giveaway. There's gonna be a code that flashes on the screen. Go, write this down and go immediately to Flatland Fuel. Buy something, enter this code. It will be a total pain in the ass. It's like 20 characters long. Go ahead and get your money and buy some bike parts from Flatland Fuel because they're sponsoring the show now.
that kind of stuff.
He didn't
You know?
plan-
Like,
He didn't plan that, you know?
he did not plan that. No, I
Yeah.
want that house because it's on exit 43. No.
Yeah, and I can fit a
Oh,
ramp in
that's
the backyard, and you know, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, there's ridiculous coincidences. But like I said, I think if some scientific person did a controlled study with people that do a certain amount of work of, you know,
Hold on a
similar
second.
activity, you know, they're not going to come up with the same counts of other numbers.
They would have to isolate non-BMX community in their observation of 43,
Yeah.
and then the BMX community
Yeah.
in the observation of 43.
Well, yeah, they'd have to find similarly obsessive communities too. I mean, people that'll sit there in a parking lot and beat on a freestyle trick for 6 hours, we're weird, you know. We're,
Yeah,
we're
I
not
would-
the same as those other guys that, you know, go and play in a softball league. You know,
That's,
different level of commitment. Okay, right?
I would love to see those categories.
You know, it's going to be hard to find ones that line up with our scene. You know, we're gonna have to get like drug users or something. You know, people, you know, pretty addictive personalities that you know.
I did the screenshot of when you guys got a hold of me to do,
Oh boy.
Yeah,
you know, it was
right.
you had just contacted me, and then I was just like checking my email maybe 40 minutes later or something. But you know, 43 emails are in there, you know, and I'm just, you know, I'm just, oh, this is perfect, you know, it's for,
Well, that looked like a double too.
yeah,
Like that 2 43s in it.
well, both the
I was
yeah, for
watching
me-
this. Go ahead, GOrk. Sorry.
I was gonna say, you know, 43 for me, and you know, I've got my wife as a total believer now in 43 because you know, like majority of the time, and it you know, just randomly, but you know, I'll wake up at 5:43, and when I go to bed, it's usually 9:43 or 10:43. You know, it's always 43 after the hour, or even, you know, just laying in bed and, you know, tired, and ask my wife, you know, clock's on her side. So I'm like, hey, what time is it? You know, and when I ask her that just randomly what time it is, and she'll like, oh, it's 3:43 in the morning, or whatever, you know, it's always that 43 after. And it's bizarre the way that, you know, shows up all the time.
Yeah. Well, that's funny too, because I did the same thing to my girlfriend. I swear it happened the same time. We checked into the same hotel, this vacation-y place down south in Monterey. And we get in the room and I look over and I see the clock, and then I asked her, hey, what time is it over there? Let her see it, you know, on her own. She's like, oh, it's like 3:43. I'm like, yeah, figures.
You could implant that. So I'm thinking maybe I could start texting James McGraw at 43 minutes after every hour
Yeah,
until he cracks.
until he gets it. Yeah, it's like,
Because it'll show up in the timestamp actually.
uh-huh. Well, you know, that's the thing. That's another category I haven't done in my folders yet. But there are planted 43s. Like now it's to a degree, like it's matured in society enough where it's like, okay, movie 43. Did they know? Or did they, you know, who decided it would be movie 43? Come on. And the Big Bang Theory had a 43 episode where they were obsessing. Why is the 43 number written? I'm like, oh my God, that's like so close. Come on. And we know for a fact Spike Jones slipped it in, like being John Malkovich, he's on his apartment's door number 43. Like,
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
I mean, you know, like,
Yeah,
so like, there's some that are planted out there, man. And now when I see them, I'm kind of like, wait, is that planted?
Yeah, is that real or not? Yeah.
Yeah, you know?
Don't be fooled. Well, I think
Yeah.
that's like anything in life, right? It's like, okay, you've got the genuine, and then you've got the, you know, something
Yeah.
that's not genuine that you have to then, okay,
Right.
I gotta, you know, investigate this for myself.
Yeah, I really want to know because, you know, if Spike's doing it at his level in movies, then
Right.
TV shows, highly likely, you know?
So there are two categories. There is naturally occurring 43s, and then
Yeah.
there are synthetic or man-made 43s,
That's right.
like diamonds.
So,
Yeah,
Joe,
and,
what,
you know, you
what
could
is
call it
this show?
fake, but you could say they're just seeding the you know.
yeah,
Tell
I
you
mean,
Oh,
like,
all right. So like in crystals, crystallography, like you drop a seed and then it grows.
Yeah.
I think that's how they grow diamonds in a
Yeah,
lab.
it's like if you take, you know, a bunch of cut up tires and dump them in the water to form a reef, right?
Yes.
You dumped a bunch of tires, but you're actually forming a, you know, giving a place for all these creatures to come live, right? So, you know,
They actually call that a matrix.
yeah. So, you know, there's times where, you know, it depends on how broad your view is, right?
So Maurice, what would you say is your best 43 story?
Oh, that's a good question, man.
Would it be the fire helmet with your kid? That was a good one.
Fire helmet's a pretty big one, yeah, man, because it was the kid and everything. But I still, I don't know, the one with Aaron Dole at the dump was hilarious because it was both of us. Like when two people witness it, that's also a thing. It's one thing when you see it, you're driving in your car, you go, oh wow, 43. I mean, like I like when it's on a big ass sign too. That's kind of great.
yeah,
Like there was a sign that said like 43 minutes to this casino from the city. And it was in a big ass billboard all day, every day. Like that's pretty badass. But like natural ones was that at the dump, man. We looked across the dump, me and Aaron, and it's all flat with all these like smell lines, imaginary smell lines coming up, you know, and there was a big garbage can. It was a gray plastic garbage can. It just had a big 43 painted on it. We both saw it. We both looked at it and went, whoa, dude. Like, you know, I don't know. That's probably my most memorable one. What about you?
So when I was working at Redline, and I just moved up to this area called Skyway, which is right above Renton, and pretty close to the offices there at Seattle Bike Supply. And so I'm driving to work one morning, and I come to the first stop sign, you know, at the light, and pull up right behind a car that had 43 in the license plate, you know, just randomly there. And then I think a school bus pulled up, and there was a 43 on the school bus, you know, kind of traditional. And then, so I go down the hill and, you know, hook a ride on Renton Avenue. And then my next red light, I'm stopped there, and I just moved to this area. So it was all kind of new and fresh to me. And I look over to the side, and there's this tow truck company, you know, and they have this big diesel Polar tow truck, you know, and I noticed the phone number on the side of this truck. It was whether, you know, the 425 area code or whatever. And then and then the last four digits of this phone number were 4343, which was pretty cool. So I was like, yeah, that's awesome. And then I look, you know, I'm still sitting there, and over on my right is that 4343 on the phone number. And then I look over on the left, you know, I'm just still waiting at the light, and there's a gas station. The price of gas that day just happened to be $2.43. So I was like, yeah, you know, it's like, man, just 43s are on a roll today. So then once I hop on the freeway to get to Renton, you know, go to the next exit down, I noticed there was a little mile marker sign, or there was some little sign that was like beat up and all bent over, but you know, it was 43 sign, you know, right there. So it's just like, man, the 43s just, they're coming this morning. So then pull off and go, take the roads over, and there's at one of the lights, there's the bank, Cascade Federal Bank, that all the SBS, the company, used. That was their go-to bank. And of course they have the temperature outside, and in Seattle, I think the average temperature has got to be 43 degrees. So of course, especially in the mornings, every time when I go there, and the temperature would always be shining 43 degrees. So one of the guys
drive you mad.
so anyways, I don't know, what was that, 7 or 8 43s just in that one drive that one morning. That was
Man,
a very, very memorable one.
That's amazing. That reminds me of a multiple. It was the year the last Super Bowl when the 49ers lost with Kaepernick. I was sitting there at my brother's house, right? And I already knew, the 43 bus connected me and my brother's house in San Francisco. If you got on the 43, you could go get to, that's a known fact. But I was sitting there on his couch, and he comes in, he's wearing, and this was all not set up, he's wearing a 43 shirt because the fire department there is number 43 or something. And one of his fire department buddies gave him a shirt that had 43, big 43 with the fire department thing. And then his daughter, who actually naturally got assigned number 43 at her school for volleyball, So like, I was like, wait a minute, this is ridiculous. This is like a 3, and like, I don't even need to move. I look this way and I could see the bus go by, oh, 43. And I look this way and I see 2 more. I'm like, this is getting ridiculous, you guys. Like, none of this was set up, but I didn't see any 69s.
Yeah, when I worked at Redline, there's a Flatland Freestyler guy, you probably know him, Fish Johnson.
Yeah, that guy's cool.
Yeah, so Fish is a huge believer in 43 as well. So, and he worked out in the warehouse, and so it was always cool, with Fish and I, we'd just be always telling 43 stories, or if we saw a good 43 this morning or whatever, he would. So it was cool to have a fellow coworker that was a believer, and a lot of the meetings that we, by the 10 years or 11 years that I worked at Redline SBS, towards the end, I had everybody believing in 43 because, it was, if it popped up, if we're in our manager's meeting and going through the previous month's numbers and stuff like that, and there would always be 43s popping up, in the sales records or whatever the budget was, oh, you got, $43 over budget this month, or what, just anything, that was 43 would always just randomly pop up. I was always sure to point it out.
Yeah, that guy Fish, he's cool, man. I saw when I met him online, with Facebook and all that, he is a ref for roller derby and has that stripy with a big 43 on it. It's awesome. Judging roller derby with a 43 shirt.
Yeah, Fish is a cool guy, and a true believer in 43. So
yeah, that's funny because he was one of the other people I thought of too. I wish we would have invited him.
Oh yeah, it would have been good.
I would count him as one of the true. Yeah.
So how do you convert someone to, or like, what's the typical conversion like, I don't want to say indoctrination, but there's definitely like when you're introduce someone to this, that you're sending them down a path that it'll be a growing experience for them if they survive.
Yeah. Well, and it's also like I think it tests your ability to think in certain levels or something, or to like if you're too linear, it's just not going to work. It's like you have to be open to that little bit sideways thought pattern, but I don't know, like I said earlier, for me it's like I just say, man, dude, I'm just telling you it's going to happen. I don't hammer people with it, but there are times where I'll just go, see what I mean? I'm not trying to say anything, but look at that right there, blatant,
Explain that away.
Yeah, like GOrk said, some trucks in front of you with a big old 43 on it. You're like, yeah, yeah. You know, police car number 43 pulls up next to you. You're like, come on, dude. That's undeniable.
Yep. Fire truck here, you know, there's 2 big fire trucks and I'll pull up right next to the 43 one, you know, and just point it out to my wife, like, oh, you know, look, what number is that? You know,
Yeah.
It's just always fun to, you know, show the proof of the number of coincidence.
Yeah, it takes on. I have faith in it. I figure it'll take root on its own. You know, I never feel like it. You know, it's different than like a conspiracy theory person. Like if you get tied up with a conspiracy theory guy, oh my God, they'll hammer you with that stuff, man. Oh my God, the 2 flat earther people I've met. Oh, dude, don't. If you just show that you're going to talk to them about it at all, they're on you like, you know, why is this and why is that and why is that? And you're like, dude, I'm not here to disprove your ridiculousness, right? It's nothing like that, right? I never feel. I just drop it here and there. Yeah, dude, it just comes up all the time. Whatever. I'm like, it's no need to convert you. You can think what you want, but
how about the speed? You know, the little, you know, speed track or the speed monitors. You know, that they'll put on the little side roads, and you know, you were going 43 miles an hour is like my average. I have no idea why, but you know, I swear, like 90% of the time, when I pass those things, it will always flash me 53.
Yeah. There's the guy in the back going, here he comes.
There's a believer.
Yeah, crack me up when Matt does his age and always 43 plus 9 years.
Right.
43 plus 12 years.
Yeah, Matt's been a big supporter of 43 for sure.
Yeah, and he would have definitely got it directly because you know we picked him up in '87 on the first tour. So you know, on tour you're gonna, like you said, with Wilkerson and you guys. I mean, dude, like when you're on tour together head to head for 3 weeks or more, it's bound to happen. That's enough time for it to germinate, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, hey Matt, right on. Welcome to the tour, dude. It's your first tour. Yeah, dude. No way. Oh my God, there goes 43. That's one. What's that mean? What does that mean? Well, it's 42. Here we just watch. A day or two later, hey, dude, there's a 40. Yeah, see, man, see. You know, by the time tour's done, it's over.
And he was young, right? He was like 13 or something, right?
Yeah, he was. I think maybe 15 at the most, 14 or 15.
Okay.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Crazy.
Wow.
Joe, do you have anything else for these guys, since they've taken the lovely time to educate us? Our viewers are going to be thrilled because all those questions, why is 43 such a phenomenon in the BMX world, will now be answered, because some people didn't really know the backstory or hadn't even really heard of 43. So now we've enlightened them all.
All right, so I've got something. So,
Yeah.
you know, one at a time, do you guys have some mentoring or coaching for people who are going to be collecting 43? Any advice on keeping track? Any advice on categorizing? Imagine that you're going to be, that you're speaking to a room full of people who are new and ready to start collecting 43. How would you help them get through this?
Maurice, you take it.
Oh shit. I mean, you know, keep your cell phone handy. You know, keep your folders, back up your computer systems, people, or you'll lose it all. Yeah, just screen capture. The news is a ripe field of 43s. I can tell you that. When I work at home on the computer now, they let me work from home and I keep a little screen running. I've grabbed so many hilarious ones from there, and that's not including the audibles, right? I don't really capture the audible, and then sometimes there's someone sitting there going over and over in a news story like, "This is 43 times." Can you believe that's really 43? Like, I don't know, son, Jane. That's like 43 times is a lot, you know. And you're like, damn, I should record this, you know. And even the headlines, you'll just have a scroll like where they're talking about something else. 43,000, you know, things happen today, you know. And so the news, watch your news. You'll get a bunch there.
I think for a lot of people, it might start off just when you go to a fast food restaurant or a pizza joint or whatever. But you know, the places where they give you the little number, and
Yep.
a majority of the times, you know, when you least expect it, you're going to get number 43. You know, the little thing to put at your table, and you know, I always love it when those happen.
Yeah, and if you steal that, it's not really considered, you know, that's not really a punishable offense. There's mitigating factors there, right?
Yeah, I
It's
remember.
in
I remember
pursuit of science.
We've all done it.
Spike. I think we all had little 43s, you know, from Carl's Jr. or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Whenever you get one, you'd have to steal it. You know, bring it back. It was always on our desks at the office.
Well, wonderful. I hope that this will eventually turn into a Hall of 43 or some type of trophy case or museum to let people, you know, like mineralogists, where people can share their finds, talk about the mine they went to, and other types of tips. This is really great. You guys have helped a brand new generation of enthusiasts.
Yeah, we're spreading a virus of sort, you know, but not with such bad connotations.
Good virus. It's a good virus to have, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 43 continue.
Hashtag number of coincidence.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? And you know, from an older generation to the younger generation, we can't wait to see what you come up with. You know, we trust
Right.
you. The world's in good hands with the BMX and skating world. 43 is alive and well.
Yeah.
I believe that children are our future.
Yes, teach them, try, and they'll find a way or something like that.
Yes.
Because the greatest love of all.
Is 43.
So speaking of the next generation, so for my grandkids, I have three grandkids, and actually 4 altogether. But my daughter, her kids, I was like, you know, I want to write down all the stories and all, you know, just have something so that they know what grandpa did, you know. So I have the book in the works, which is my 43 elements of being
Nice.
GOrk.
Nice.
And you know, just 43 chapters. You know, I tried to keep it down to that. It's not finished yet, but
Nice.
you know, that's my way of passing on 43 to my grandkids.
Wait a second. So it occurs to me that you are very consciously passing this along. Does any evidence exist that 43 was passed to us?
All right, guys. Well, maybe we should wrap it up. Joe, do you have any last kind of thoughts or ideas to run by these guys?
No last thoughts. I think that advice for collectors of 43 was spot on. And I think we're gonna hype that quite a bit. I want to see how far this comes back. I want to see people telling their stories in the comments. So thank you guys for doing that. And I admire your collector's eye and talent for keeping this stuff together.
It's easier than collecting mullets.
Right.
Yeah, Maurice, I'm gonna have to send you a bunch my personal collection of all my 43s, you know, because I've done the same thing, taking photos of, you know, temperature in my refrigerator is 43 degrees. Every time I open up my fridge, it's 43 degrees, you know. So, you know, just all those weird little coincidences. And like I said,
Oh yeah, definitely out of archive.
I'm just disappointed that I thought we'd keep talking for maybe 4 or 5 minutes, you know, so that we be done right at.
Yeah. Call that one out. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have 5 minutes.
Where do you see that? Where do you see? Okay, we got 5. We're gonna do it.
Well,
this
see,
is
now we can't do it now because that would be planned, you know.
Yeah, we don't want to plant it, Joe.
Yeah.
But anyways, you're going to edit this down. It's not going to be full raw footage. 100 and
It's absolutely going to be 43, 43.
43, 43, 43.
Yeah, it should be.
Totally.
43 minutes, 43 seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
40 43 like decimal seconds.
But yeah, we should. Oh,
Like really zoom in on the
43
video.
frames.
we do have some sponsors. So when you do your Flatland Fuel giveaway,
Oh yeah.
they have to have like 343 entries or something.
Oh yeah, that's right. Put it in there.
Those are already made. We're gonna have to come up with a special.
Then do it with Cool Stop. Do it with Cool Stop. Cool Stop is another sponsor that's been.
How could we get Cool Stop to kick in? What 40? How would that work?
I have a whole bunch of Cool Stop stuff. I can still send them care packages. They just need to. They need to put in the comments. I don't know. How can we do this, Joe? They should actually have a picture, but can they? They can't add the picture to the comment, right?
They have to send you. All right. So what's the contest? Like what? Yeah. What will be the Cool Stop contest?
Oh, well,
Promotion.
then maybe that could be it. Whoever comes up with the best 43 coincidence after watching this,
And we'll judge them. The four of us will judge them.
and we'll judge them. Yeah,
They're
because these
gonna-
guys obviously have.
Well, hold on a second. I will.
They're gonna be
officially-
lying. They're gonna be lying like hell. They're gonna be up there. Yeah, dude, I was digging in the ground and I freaking pulled out 43 gold coins. You know, like they're gonna be making.
So what?
shit.
That's all good if they can be creative. You know, they'll be.
That's
fine.
true.
Well, we have to
There's
judge
two
it.
categories.
What's authentic and what's not.
Yeah.
So they
Maybe
have
that
to-
would be a game show. Is someone presents, you know, a piece of 43 evidence, knowing whether it's fact or freestyle, and then
will the real 43 stand up?
will the real
Yeah,
43
images.
stand up?
You could definitely do images because that way it's like a hunt, you know, like a mullet hunt. You can do the image hunt, you know.
Okay, so that's what it is. If you want to win your Cool Stop care package for this show, please message Joe Sickman.
Send Dave your best 43.
Me?
Well, you're the. How is anyone going to find me? I have like 5 Instagram accounts.
True.
I have my own.
Send it to me.
And no one's going to be able to figure out my name because of how you pronounce it. I have footprints in the spam. I have Scuffington Post. I have the Terradome and Factor. Oh, they can use Factor Freestyle Instagram.
Okay, so there it is.
It took me.
Message.
It took
Took
me
you
all
5
of that time to remember that we have a Factor Freestyle Instagram.
Yeah, still.
You know, maybe you could get DC shoes. I am actually wearing DC shoes right now, by the way.
We could
Okay.
get DC shoes.
DC shoes should be super down. I mean, maybe Ken Block's not still there, but they better get it. You know?
How
All
would
right,
you guys pitch? Hold on, before we wrap, how would you guys pitch DC shoes on this sponsorship? GOrk, how would you pitch
You guys have been hurting.
DC
lately.
shoes on this sponsorship?
and I'm just looking at the clock and you guys have almost made it to 43 after, so I think you better wrap it
Yeah.
up.
All right, now we're done. 43 after.
Okay.
So,
We don't have time. We gotta go.
All right, that's it. We're
Thank
done.
you guys.
Thanks so much, guys.